Hey everyone, I am doing my presentation on the 4 different joint types. The first one is bony joint, and that occurs when 2 bones fuse together and become 1 bone. The articulation is synostosis, which means there's no movement that can occur. Typically this occurs when a person reaches adulthood. Separate bones from infancy fuse together into 1 bone. Examples are the mandible and frontal bone, the rib and sternum, and the epiphysis and the diaphysis. The next type is fibrous joints, and they are bones bound by short collagen fibers. The articulation is synarthrosis, which means there's very little movement. There are 3 types of fibrous joints. The first is suture. An example is the joint between the cranial bones. Gomphosis, which is between the tooth and the mandible or maxilla. And then syndesmosis is the joint between the ulna and radius and the tibia and fibula. And this is more movable due to the longer collagen fibers. And then we have the cartilaginous joints, and these are 2 bones that are linked by cartilage. It's amphiarthrosis, which means a moderate amount of movement. There are 2 types. Synchondrosis, which is bound by hyaline cartilage. An example is the diaphysis and epiphysis in children. And then symphysis, which is bound by a thick layer of fibrocartilage. Examples are the pubic symphysis and intervertebral discs. And then the 4th type is synovial, and that involves fluid-filled cavities that connects the bone. It's diarthrosis, which means it's freely movable. It's composed of a joint cavity, which is a narrow space between bones filled with synovial fluid, which lubricates the joints and reduces friction. And then there's the joint capsule, which surrounds the joint cavity, and that's composed of fibrous capsule, which holds joints together and retains fluid, and then synovial membrane, which produces the synovial fluid. And then there's also the articular cartilage, which is made of hyaline cartilage, and that is on the surface of bones to reduce friction. An example of this is the fingers. There are some accessory structures to synovial joints. The first is tendons, which attach muscles to bones. Ligaments, which attach bones to bones. Bursa, which is the fluid-filled sacs that cushion bones and allow tendons to slide more easily over bones. Articular disc, which is fibrocartilage that creates sectioned areas of the synovial fluid for greater variety of movement. And the meniscus, which is fibrocartilage pad that covers parts of the tibia in the knee joint to absorb extra force. There are 3 axes or planes when talking about synovial joints. The first is multi-axial, which is 3 planes or axes. An example is the hip and the shoulder. Biaxial is 2 axes or planes. Example is the carpals and tarsals. And then monaxial is 1 axis. An example is the head of the radius with the ulna. Thank you.